For those of you who are following along in your Advent devotionals, you know that the theme for this Sunday is seeking. You may have also figured that out from the call to worship, lighting of the candles. As I mentioned previously, we have some somewhat different themes for each Sunday in Advent this year. And this theme is seeking. And it's interesting to have these different themes, but also to be returning, as I have been, to the lectionary. For those who don't remember, the lectionary is like the Bible chopped up into 3 years of bites. And so you get different bites, but you get most of the big, juicy bites in the lectionary. You miss some, but you get most of them. But the lectionary doesn't necessarily line up with the themes that we have for Advent. Not necessarily. In this case, it ultimately did. Well, let's talk for a bit, or I'll talk for a bit, about seeking. As people, we tend, more often than not, to find what we seek. And I'll explain this in a few different ways. One of the ways we tend to find what we seek is through something called confirmation bias. Which, has anyone heard that term before? Few people. So confirmation bias is this very well, thoroughly studied phenomenon whereby we tend to see what we expect to see. So given a whole bunch of things to look at and think about and learn, a person will remember the things that reinforce what they already believe. And they'll tend to forget the things or ignore the things that challenge what they already believe. So if you've ever had a discussion with someone, maybe who disagrees with you, and it seems like they've kind of cherry-picked evidence from out in the world to support what they think, well, in the same way, each of us has cherry-picked some evidence to support what we think. And through confirmation bias, the more strongly we believe something, the more thoroughly we're going to filter out all the things we see just to see the things that support what we believe. This happens unconsciously. You can try to address it, you can try to limit it, being aware of it is a good idea, but it's not something we control or choose. It's just something that happens. Like, think about it. If you saw and remembered, and if you remembered everything you saw and heard and read and felt throughout your life, your head would explode, right? So what happens is your brain has to filter what's going on. And one of the ways it filters is by reassuring you that you're right. Which can be, obviously, a little dangerous. But it's your brain. It's trying to help. And so in that way, we tend to find what we're looking for. In the area of problem solving, group problem solving, even politics, we tend to find what we're looking for. Have you ever noticed that when you're talking about a budget, if something is very highly valued, you can usually find money to support it? And then if something isn't as highly valued, it tends to get cut, or you're told we just can't afford that right now. We kind of find support and resources for the things we value most. Also, the things that we support and find resources for reflect what we value. So a recent example that caught my attention. You may have read that we have made some further cuts to the food stamp program. This is a program that it has the lowest fraud of any social service program. Over 95% of people who receive food stamps are children, the elderly, and the disabled. And yet, we just can't afford it. And so we have to cut this program to be responsible. At the same time, depending on what source you look at, we could find between $2 trillion and $6 trillion to fight the war on terror. And so when we need money for warfare, we always seem to find it. And when we need money for feeding or supporting vulnerable people, sometimes we have to make cuts because of the budget. These sorts of things, whether we want them to or not, reveal our values. And they're another way that we find what we seek. We tend to find the solutions that we seek, even when we take on something enormous as a problem. If we commit ourselves to that, we tend to find a way to do it. So does anyone know what Bergen County, New Jersey, Abilene, Texas, and Salt Lake City, Utah have in common? I would not expect anyone. What's that?
Are they going back?
That's a good guess. But they are not. Well, I'm not certain whether they are or not. I don't think so. The thing I had in mind is that those are three places that are ending homelessness. We think of homelessness as an overwhelming, insurmountable problem. There will always be homeless people. But in some places around the country, they're saying, actually, no. We're going to end homelessness. Salt Lake City is over 90% of the way there. Abilene, Texas has ended homelessness among all their veterans. That was their priority. So they have 0 homeless veterans in Abilene, Texas. So I think about 25% of the homeless overall are veterans. So that's a big chunk. And Bergen County, New Jersey has committed to ending homelessness. Not only have they committed to it, they're doing it. Salt Lake City has almost done it. They decided what they're going to seek, and they're finding it. By comparison, you could look at cities like San Francisco or Philadelphia, who want to deal with homelessness in a different way. They do so through something called hostile architecture. Ever notice there's new bright metal railings on benches downtown? Or do you see those spikes on the sidewalk near buildings? Those are to make it uncomfortable for homeless people to sleep. And so millions and millions of dollars are going into hostile architecture in hundreds of cities around the country. This is a way of literally just torturing homeless people out of downtown. So they've decided to seek a different response to homelessness, and they're finding it. And I guess those are two ways of making sure there aren't homeless people in your city. Either you find them all homes, like Salt Lake City, or you make them unbelievably uncomfortable, like San Francisco or Philly or other cities. But that's another way that we as people tend to find what we seek. Sometimes the finding what we seek is ridiculous. Oklahoma City has committed to making transit free for all people. Public transit will be free of charge. In contrast, New York City recently spent $250 million hiring new transit police to make sure people don't jump over the turnstiles to get onto public transit, which is a significant fraud problem. It's cost the city almost $200 million. If you're good at math, you'll see the humor there. $250 million for new police to prevent $200 million of fraud. But again, they found what they sought. And hopefully Oklahoma City will as well. And both cities will reduce fraud in their city, one by making it free and paying for that, one by having thousands of more cops and paying for that. And so we tend as people in a lot of ways to find what we seek, even on an everyday normal level. Have you noticed that people who have a generally positive outlook look around the world and they tend to see positive things around? Has anyone noticed that? In the same way, people who tend to have a generally pessimistic outlook, I know some of you are giving me side eye right now, that's fine. People who tend to have a generally pessimistic outlook tend to look around in the world and they see the difficult things, the challenging things, the hard things. That's a simple way that we ourselves filter, or that we find what we seek. We do this filtering because we can't see everything, we can't hear everything, we certainly can't remember all of it, our heads would explode. But interestingly, by comparison, God can see everything. God can hear everything. God can remember everything. So it's interesting to ask the question, as I did in other ways in the past couple months, what does God see? Knowing everything, remembering everything, having no need of these filters that we have to create for ourselves, what does God see? One place we can look to find what God seeks, I think, is in the Magnificat. That is the Song of Mary, which was our first reading this morning, which we've talked about many times here. It's one of my favorites. And so we can look at the Magnificat of Mary, and we can see one vision of what God seeks. God seeks to favor the lowly. God seeks to show mercy on those who know him. God seeks to scatter the proud. God seeks to bring down the powerful. God seeks to lift up the lowly. God seeks to fill the hungry with good things. God seeks to send the rich away empty. God seeks to help God's people and to keep the promises that were made. So given those things that I mentioned above, given the fact that we, not always, but more often than not, I think, tend to find what we seek, how often do we seek what God seeks? How often do we seek what God seeks? As I thought about this sermon and about the theme, I started off focused on us seeking. The theme is seeking, so I thought about us seeking, what we seek. And then it occurred to me that if anything, Advent is not about us seeking. Not primarily. The story that leads us into the moment of Christmas is not primarily a story of our seeking, of what we seek. I think it is rather primarily a story of God seeking us. I think that is what leads to the incarnation, what leads to Christmas is not us seeking God. Nobody, or very few, were looking for Jesus. A few magicians from Persia, some shepherds after they were told by angels, but very few people were seeking Jesus. Jesus came because God is seeking us. In a way, Advent and Christmas is like God's last resort, God's last final gambit. Push all the chips in the center of the table. This is it. God goes all in. God tried having power over all of creation, demonstrating God's power over life and death as a way to seek us. That wasn't enough. And God provided covenants to great leaders, who we call patriarchs of the faith, to bind them to God in relationship. And none of those covenants were enough. God led God's people to freedom in the form of a fiery column, moving through the wilderness by day and a pillar of smoke by night, bringing them to the promised land, handing it to them. That was not enough. God gave them a law, a strict and detailed way of life, saying, this is how you live, just do this. It wasn't enough. God sent prophet after prophet after prophet after prophet, using different styles and metaphors, speaking to different contexts, from different backgrounds. Every kind of prophet people could have found were sent. It wasn't enough. And so God had to come to us in person in order to seek us. Because in addition to all the things that God seeks that I mentioned in the Magnificat, at the top of all those things, what is clearly God's number one priority is seeking us. God seeks us. God seeks us in prophecy. God seeks us in the story we are telling this Advent. God seeks us in a manger. God seeks us at the font. God seeks us at the table. Now, as I said, we tend more often than not to find what we seek one way or another. So I wonder, will God find what God is seeking? will God find you